So we didn't know like how it was. So till now, like before we knew, like it happened like this, and me and like some of the meditators were doing the lot of yatra and everything. And someone like after that, what actually happened after that was, Sadhguru announced that like he's going to consecrate the Linga Bhairavi Devi temple in Nepal. We didn't knew about that one till that time. Like we were just like doing yatras and going through yatras, and then like finding out like where the live temples are across the valley, like reaching out to the most popular one first of all, and then like we went to the smaller shrines and different kind of temples, samadhis, and all these kind of places. And if you do not know, like one of the very powerful Shaktipeeth is also in like Kathmandu Valley. Like we'll look into that one. It's quite actually crazy. Okay, so what actually happened is like as we went through the yatra or something like that, then like one big revelation actually came. Okay, so I'm going to show you like this is one thing, because I come from like an engineering background, like so in the engineering and mathematics and everything, we have to work with certain kind of geometry. I think like everybody knows about that. Sadhguru also he speaks about a lot about the geometries. And if you guys know like what is the geometry of a Devi, I think like everybody knows about it. It's basically a triangle. Okay. So if you look into this like one geometric pattern, like if you see like this is spot on the top is basically the where the Linga Bhairavi was supposed to be consecrated. This happened like just a month before the consecration. This is the location of the Linga Bhairavi where it is. And the sea is basically the Dakshin Kali temple. This is very, very powerful and most popular, one of the popular temple in Kathmandu Valley. This is where like a Sadhguru has also visited actually. Okay. And there's another Mahakali temple in Bhaktapur. Sadhguru has also spoke a whole lot about like that temple. And this is where the Taleju Bhavani is also there, like a very, very powerful deity, like which is the tutelary deity of the Kathmandu Valley, and where like a Sadhguru has also went to have a darshan. So when we connected, and like I think like you guys know about the triangles, like the triangles can be, I think like if it create like a inverted feminine like a fire triangle, it is basically like the Shakti triangle. Okay, and it usually comes in the form of like the equilateral triangle. But in the case of like our revelation, like we found like a lot of isosceles triangles. Okay, isosceles triangle basically means like the two sides of the triangle actually are very, very similar length. Okay, for example, in this case, like this line and this line, if you divide by that, we actually get what? I think like you guys can see it here. So it's basically a Devi's number. Okay, so this was the revelation actually came to us, like one thing. Okay, so after that, like what actually happened is like when I realized this, and then I try to find out like where this is actually the pattern. Okay, what is the pattern, what it is going on and everything, what is all this going on. Okay, so but before that, like there were like the parallel energy research was also going on. Okay, another parallel research was basically like if you know, like I told you about this Brahmani temple, and then like this like Ashtamatrika temple that formed as a sword. Okay, like this was a sword. I'll reveal a little bit. Like the red one is the sword pattern that was actually the Devi temple. And the Kathmandu Valley, like if you know, like the Kathmandu Valley's history is actually associated. The oldest story what is associated with is with the Swayambhu temple. I think like many of you who have been to Nepal, like it is very, very popular with it is a Buddhist pilgrimage site, as well as it is also known as the monkey temple, okay, by the foreigners. And if you go over there, like you can find Swayambhu, like the Buddhist stupa and everything, but it is actually associated with something what we actually referred as the Newar Vajrayana Buddhism. Okay, so there are like you may not know, like Buddhism is not like a unidirectional kind of the spiritual path. There are like many diversification out there. So starting with the Theravada and everything, we're not interested with that one in this context. We're interested with something that has to do with the Devi. So in the Kathmandu Valley, like you can find like two different flavors of like Vajrayana Buddhism. Like if you guys know about the Vajrayana Buddhism, it's the tantric version of the Buddhism, like very similar with the Indian mysticism and everything. So the tantric Buddhism that comes from the from like Tibet is actually like it has to do with a very sattvic kind of tantra. Okay, but the another one like which actually evolved over time in the Kathmandu Valley. And most of the temples, the powerful temples that you saw, and then the Ashtamatrika map, which I showed you just before, they all actually falls under the category of the Newar Buddhism, which has got a lot of influence of the Shaktism from the Assam as well as the West Bengal area. Okay, so these has got like a lot of influence on that one. So while I was talking about this Swayambhu is like I'll like keep these things as short as possible so that we can go even further. So in the Swayambhunath, like the story goes like that, like there was a bodhisattva, like a realized being called like a Manjunath, who actually opened up the river and then opened up the lake, and then where the Kathmandu Valley is there, like it became fertile because it was actually a lake initially. Okay, so the enlightened being called Manjushri, he actually opened the the opening, created the opening for the lake, and that's where like we can actually see the valley. Okay, now the valley that we exist. But it is said that like when yogi, another yogi who came from India, like he was known as a Shantikar, Acharya. So when he came, like he got the revelation from he actually got a revelation from like a Manjushri, and then told him that like in the future like people will be very much corrupted, so you have to do something to protect this Swayambhu. Okay, we do not know like what it is or something like that. It should be like a certain kind of yantra, but most of the people actually what they actually say is it was like some kind of lotus kind of thing that actually manifested by itself. So what he did was like Shantikar Acharya, what he did was he actually locked the entire area, that place, with like a different kind of energy. And there are like you can find like the Basupur, which is represents the earth material. There's a Akaspur, which is the sky element, and there's like a Nagpur with a snake and so on. Like there are 4 or 5 energy lock he did around that Swayambhu. And then like a Swayambhu, if you just Google it, you can find the Swayambhunath. Whatever the Swayambhunath stupa which we are seeing at the moment is not actually the original Swayambhu. There are like a 4 or 5 layers actually. Okay, 4 or 5 layers of Swayambhu on the top of that one, like the one top of another. And what it is said is like the Shantikar Acharya actually, the Shantikar Acharya, what he did was like he locked the entire place with the energy so that like nobody can actually come and like misuse the power or like destroy or like do certain things with like the whatever we may call it as a yantra, but in that context, like it is actually known as certain kind of lotus or something. So basically, like he just entered to the Akaspur, that which he created actually. Okay, he created that Akaspur, one of the energy lock center, and he went inside. And there's a story that like there are 7 layers of it. We'll not go too much deeper into that one. And it is said that like he went inside and then he did the like he's still in a samadhi over there. Okay, nearly 200-300 years ago, something like that. So because of that reason, and then like he was a tantric guy and everything, that was one of the story we heard and everything. And this place is very, very, very powerful. If you ever come to Nepal, you should go to this place. You can go inside, but if you are receptive enough, like you can experience everything over there. Many of the Isha meditators have actually gone there also. Now, like why I'm telling you all this is like but there are certain kind of mystery about this like a place of Shantipur, because one thing is like they say like there are 7 layers, and what they also say is like as you enter one door after another, you can actually go to different realms. Okay, different realms and everything. Like currently, like only the main priest, which is known as the Vajracharya from the Newar Buddhism, like he can actually enter to after the second gate. Okay, second door, but other people can actually enter up to the first door, inside the first door. That also only during the full moon night. Okay, otherwise like it is locked all the time. Okay, because like the energy, they may say that like it may not be conducive for everyone. Okay, or they want to preserve it, and there are a lot of things like that we still do not know. Now, what they actually said was like they added like one story. Okay, like why this guy actually went inside that one. Okay, why this guy actually, Shantikar Acharya, actually went inside that one and he never came out. Okay, and there are like a lot of crazy stories here. Okay, so after that, like we actually went through, after that, like we heard, like everybody knows about the, Guheshwari Shaktipeeth, which is next to the, nearly like I would say, 300 meters next to the Pashupatinath temple, and she's very, very powerful. Okay, everybody knows about that, and it is considered as one of the 18 Shaktipeethas, main Shaktipeethas. So, but like later on, like as we started doing research, like we also found the another one actually, okay, which is actually the Purana Guheshwari. Okay, they say that like this was actually the original Guheshwari. Okay, now which basically means that there are now like two Guheshwaris. One is the main Guheshwari, which is next to the Pashupatinath temple, since it is belongs to the premise or the Kshetra, Pashupati Kshetra areas. Because of that reason, like she got like a lot of, let's say, lot of interest, and like a lot of tourists can actually visit there. Okay, a lot of pilgrimage can visit very easily, but many people do not actually know about the old Guheshwari. Now the crazy thing about this is like why Purana Guheshwari is like a very, very interesting is, one thing is it is associated with the Shaktipitha, same name, and the local Newari people, they say that like old Guheshwari is actually the original Guheshwari. Okay, but we do not know, like both of them are very, very powerful. So you can actually make use of both of them. Now the interesting thing about the Purana Guheshwari is there is a story that when the Manjushri, the enlightened being, like he actually opened the water from the lake of the Kathmandu valley to leave outside from the Chovar. There is also like the Jal Vinayak temple is there, like which has got the tantra involved. Okay, very, very rare kind of, the Ganesha temple, like in the entire world. Okay, so this is very, very powerful place also. I visited that. So one of the water, majority of the water actually escaped from the Chovar next to the Jal Vinayak temple, but some part of the water, it is said that actually went through the old Guheshwari temple. Okay, Guha basically means it's the cave, okay, or the opening, or it also considers with the Kali temple. Guheshwari is associated with the Kali, and Guheshwari basically means the secret. Okay, secret cave or like opening. These are all like a very synonymous word. And the interesting thing about it is like what they said is like when a pujari, they offer like a certain kind of egg to the deity. So what they said is like if they put the egg to that opening, like it just goes deep. Okay, we do not know like where it goes. Okay, I've not tried it, but like that is the saying what they say. It's very powerful place, and it is said that like when the water escaped, like when the Manjushri did that act, many water actually went through these wells. Okay, now coming back, like after that, like what actually happened is like there is one meditator. I will not tell his name. So there is like one meditator like who is currently in the ashram, like he knows about it, he does may or may not know. I was asking him about like a certain other leads also. Okay, there are a lot of leads, like I was looking for like how many energy spaces we can find or something. Like we are not actually particularly looking towards the Linga Bhairavi temple per se in this case. So one of the Anna actually told me that like you have to go to this kind of certain kind of place, like which is in the middle of the city. Okay, and you have to go there, like there are some kind of like a blue Buddha kind of Akshobhya. He's actually known as Akshobhya. So you have to go there, and then like this is a very powerful this place. So what actually happened is like we went over there, and then like somehow we end up like it was already getting dark. Some of the meditators actually went to the Akash Bhairav temple, and then they just got lost over there because it has got a lot of power, and then they forgot that like we're going through energy mapping task. Okay, so I cannot actually have the privilege to sit down in one place and forget about what I have to do. So we went to that place, and then we actually found out a place called like a Dolma. Okay, so Tara Dolma temple. Okay, Tara, I think like many of you can relate with that name. So Tara is a deity, like a female deity, another form of the Shakti, which is actually used in the Tibetan Buddhism, in the Shaktism, Tantra, in Kamakhya, very popular like all across like India, and as well as like it's used in the Newar Buddhism also. Okay, and if you have ever went to the Kailash, like after in the Kailash parikrama, you will reach a place known as the Dolma Pass. Okay, Dolma Pass is basically like if you reach to the Dolma Pass, Dolma basically means the Tara, and then Tara is basically synonymous with the, is the another form of the Mata Parvati. Okay, so if you go to the top of the Dolma Pass, you can actually see the Gauri Kund also. I'm just like relating the story. So why I'm telling you about this like a Dolma, Tara Dolma temple is because like why I'm telling you this is because when we went over there, like there are like actually 3 different Taras with different colors. Okay, there are actually in Tibetan Buddhism as well as in Neo Buddhism, there are like 108 different Taras. Okay, and among them like 21 of them are like used for, you know, main meditation and sadhana and everything. And now like there are a whole lot of stories which I'll come into that one. So basically like we went to that temple, and then we saw like these 3 Tara Devi temple sitting over there, and then the priest was there, and then we're just like having darshan and everything. And then like somehow like somehow the priest actually revealed the information that we are actually looking for. Okay, so what actually happened was like we were like a little bit, you know, thinking about like this Shantikar Acharya and, you know, what was actually happened in the Swambhunath and everything, because they said like there are like 7 doors and you can actually go to different realms and everything. Some takes to like underground, some takes to somewhere, some takes to the land of the Nagas and everything. There are a lot of things involved with that one. Okay, so we're sitting over there, and then like one lady came, like Akka came, and then like she's not a meditator, of course, like she came, like a local person who was just coming to have a darshan of her, like the Tara. We're just like sitting over there, and like starting after that, like they started revealing the information of the Shantikar Acharya. Okay, so what it is said is like, I'll not go there. This is like a very, very explicit kind of things, like many of you may not be. I think like everybody is like you know, fine enough to hold this. So like I'll reveal this one. So what actually happened was, so Shantikar Acharya was a tantric, okay, and he used to worship a Maheshwari, which is also known as the you know, there's a Maipi Ajima temple which actually is on the top of that sword. Okay, the sword like what I showed you earlier. Let me show you. Okay, so in this map, like if you see, this is the Ashtamatrika map. So this is actually the Maipi Ajima. Okay, this is the Maipi Ajima. Ajima basically means the grandmother goddess in Newari language. So this is the energy of the Shiva. Okay, Maheshwari. Okay, so feminine energy of the Lord Shiva, Maheshwar and then Maheshwari. Okay, so I think like everybody can relate. So what they revealed was like he was a devotee of the Lord Maheshwari, goddess Maheshwari, and then what actually happened was like you know, it is said that, you know, for certain reasons and everything, like they say, we do not know. Okay, inside the Swambhunath, like what the priest revealed was like you can actually go inside that, you know, he used to go inside the, that like, you know, the Akash temple, Akashpur, and then like he used to worship, and then, you know, and he had like a certain kind of tantric abilities to give whatever the, you know, the deity was asking for it. Okay, he used to offer, okay, certain things. As you know that in the tantra and everything, you have to offer certain kind of things. So he used to be like that all the time. And there was a condition that like, you know, he had to go alone. And then the moment like he starts the process, he should not be looking behind. Okay, for example, like I'm going like this to the temple, I should not be looking behind. Okay, so he has to go like that. But it is actually said that like, you know, he didn't knew that, you know, like he just went to the temple, and then like the deity actually said that, you know, I want something, like I want to ask something from you. The deity asked him. Okay, and then the Shantikar Acharya said, okay, I'm ready to offer anything. Like I'm your, you know, you can say like a dasa. Okay, not the slave, but like you know, you can relate. So I'm like I'm your servant. Like I can offer anything what you desire. So he said that like the deity said that like you have to look behind, and then like whoever is whoever is behind, you have to offer that to me. Okay, and what actually happened is like it's a very painful kind of thing and everything. Again, like this is a story. Like you can take it literally, you can take it as a some kind of myth. It's up to you to take it. Okay, this is a Devi kind of thing. So like we are going off the rocker and everything. Like so. basically like what actually happened is like okay, he said like he agreed, okay, he done the deal, and the deity said like you cannot change your mind, and he said like okay, I'm ready to offer anything. So when he turned back and then like he saw, okay, now like I see like there's 111 people, okay, it went down to 109. So basically like what actually happened was, when he turned around, like he saw that it was his son, okay. So his son has unconsciously actually followed to him. So he was now caught up, okay, because he has to offer his only son to the deity, okay. So he said that like okay, like it is your choice, like he, with like all the pain and anguish within himself, although he was a yogi, tantric, like he offered his son, and then it is said like after offering the son, because like his son is no more anymore, so he got, you know, gone into the tragedy, okay. So it is said that like after that, like he went inside that Santipur temple, and then he was in the samadhi, okay. So there are two things associated with this, okay. I do not know like how good storyteller am I. This is actually what happened in front of me and like many other meditators, okay. Especially like there was another meditator. So okay, some people have said like believe in mystical aspect, but that is not belief, but like it's a reality, okay. So like why I was telling you this is because we're actually sitting in front of the Tara temple, and many of you, like if you are related with like a Vajrayana Buddhism and everything, like we know that like you know, there is something known as the talking Tara is also there, okay. So talking Tara is a goddess, like a form of a Tara, which can actually reveal you like what you are looking for, okay. Although like I was not like looking forward to that information, but somehow like we are actually like looking forward to that one. Now like why it is connected was because till that period, now we have actually visited all these surrounding deities. A few of them, just like I said, like because of the access issues, will not be able to go inside. So now like the only temple left was the Maipiyajima, okay. So we went to that temple finally, like we various of our meditators, we went over there, we had a darshan, and we couldn't actually find the older people like who was staying over there. And one of the beauty of like Kathmandu Valley is like a certain society actually take care of a particular temple, okay. So at that time, like a particular family was over there, like who was actually taking care of the temple, and like we were curious, like what was going on and everything. So later, like what they actually revealed. What they actually revealed was this is quite interesting, okay. So what they revealed was like Shantikar Acharya actually used to stay there, and then what he did was like you know, after his son, like he offered his son, and what he said was like what they said was like the Devi herself does not actually need any sacrifices, okay. She does not actually need any sacrifices. It's the ganas, for example, like the Shiva has got his ganas. Similar to that one, like a Devi actually has got a lot of ferocious, different kind of, you know, the beings and everything. Okay, I'll not go into too much deeper or something, but they actually need like this kind of energies and everything to sustain like, you know, that company, because like they are, you know, part of her, and then even me and even the child, even all the animals that is offered to her. Of course, like a Shakti is everywhere, and whatever we're talking, like everything is Shakti only. There's no other thing other than her. Like you can say like, as a Leela, it's a reality, like it's a it's all over the place, okay. But anyways, so what they revealed was like you know, after Shantikar Acharya like was heartbroken and he was in tragedy, he came over there and he actually, you know, buried his son in a particular place in that hill where the Maipiyajima temple is there. So and after that, like he went to that Santipur place, and then like he went inside in the samadhi. Okay, now why I'm telling you this is because this place where the child is actually buried, okay, this where this child is actually buried, this is the only place, it is said that it is the only place from where, when a deity, let's say like a deity like in like for example like in like Kathmandu Valley and everything, for example like you know, like Sadhguru talks about like a different kind of considerations, okay. So these are like different places evolved differently. Like it was not like now that you can just like Google it, ChatGPT or internet or something, you can find a lot of information. So at that time, like you know, this northern part of India and Nepal and then like West Bengal and Assam, they evolved completely differently people in the southern part of the India, like they evolved differently. The western part of the India evolved differently. For example, like, the Uttarakhand and this kind of area, they evolved completely differently, spiritually, in terms of mysticism and occult and everything. So because of that reason, like, Sadhguru talks about the consecration. So the part of the consecration that usually takes place in Kathmandu Valley is like, when the deity becomes too old or like becomes damaged or something, what is going to happen is like, they have to, create another deity and they have to consecrate the deity again. Okay. So it is said that like the people, like recently, like people actually like from Kathmandu Valley, they actually come to that hill. Okay. The location where they actually, the child was buried. They'll come over there. They'll dig the soil from there. And then like they will take that soil and then they will consecrate the deity. Okay. So without using that soil from there, like the consecration is not complete in many of the temples. I cannot say for every places, but that is what they said and everything. So why I'm actually connecting all this is because as you know, like all these events actually started unfolding and revealing by itself when the consecration was still a month to go. Okay, we were still waiting for 1 month, 1 month or so, even like more days were still left. So now, like if you put together, like if you look into this, like a map, like it's crazy actually. Like it's mind blowing. You can find it in my Instagram page also. So the red one is actually the sword, which is the Ashtamatrika temple. Okay, the center one is the Maheshwari, which is actually the energy of the Shiva, feminine energy of the Shiva. This is Santipur, Swayambhu, and all these places, Shantikar Acharya, where the Shantikar Acharya actually went to the Samadhi. This is a Purana Goeshwari. These three are actually interrelated. And this is part of the Brahmeswari. This is the energy of the Brahma, or the energy of the creation. Okay. And you can see like how the yantra is being formed. Okay. Like you can actually see like there are so many triangles are there. Like you can break this into 4 triangles, 5 triangles, 6 triangles, 7, 8 triangles, 9 triangles, something. And finally, like when you connect all this, boom, you can actually see a Linga Bhairavi temple. Okay, now like how it came, like we do not know, but as you can see, like it actually forms the very, very perfect like a geometric pattern. Okay,